The grand chamber of the Galactic Council was silent. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in wide rings around a floating platform in the center. Lights flickered as the final vote finished. One by one, each glowing pillar on the wall turned red. Council High Speaker, a tall creature with glowing blue skin and no mouth, raised its three-fingered hand. "Humans of Earth," it said, voice echoing from a translator drone, "you are hereby banished. You will be sent to Zeta 9, a planet unfit for civilized life. There, you will either perish or survive on your own." A gasp rippled through the crowd. From the center platform, the human ambassador stood straight. His name was Captain Rhys Callahan. His face was calm, though his fists were tight. "You're doing this out of fear," he said quietly. "You fear what we might become, but you will regret this decision." "You are too dangerous," a council member shouted. "Your kind grows stronger during war, not peace. Your survival instincts override diplomacy. You will break this galaxy if we let you stay." Rhys stared at the alien who spoke. "You're afraid because we don't give up. Because we learn fast. Because pain doesn't stop us." The High Speaker gave one last wave of its hand. "Discussion is over. Earth is exiled. You leave now." Guards approached from all sides. Rhys stepped backward into a small human shuttle, parked at the edge of the platform. The doors closed. Back inside the ship, the crew waited in silence. No one spoke. Then Rhys laughed. "They just made the biggest mistake of their lives," he said. Zeta-9 was not a place anyone visited. Planet had been scanned long ago, and the report was clear. Burning winds, boiling rivers, storm-plagued skies, and deadly beasts. The Galactic Council called it a Deathworld, a place only fit for destruction. But Earth had no choice now. Human ships arrived in orbit. The first colony pod dropped through the clouds. Captain Rhys stood inside, wearing an armored suit. His crew followed scientists, soldiers, engineers. Every one of them had volunteered. As the pod opened, the wind screamed like a wild animal. Ash and sand blasted the ground. Giant shadows moved in the fog. Rhys stepped out first. "Feels like summer in Arizona," he said, grinning. Weeks passed. Zeta 9 fought back hard. The gravity crushed bones. The storms tore shelters apart. Insects the size of cars attacked in swarms. But humans didn't run. They adapted. They reinforced. Buildings using alien metals. They built underground bunkers to hide from the wind. Soldiers used flamethrowers and sonic pulses to keep the beasts away. Engineers crafted air filters from broken shuttle parts. Bit by bit, the colony survived. Then something strange happened. They began to thrive. Children were born under the burning red skies. They played inside sealed domes while their parents hunted in the wild. Scientists discovered strange materials in the rocks, stronger than steel, lighter than air. Engineers began to experiment. One evening, Captain Rhys stood outside, in a heat suit, looking at the stars. A scout approached. "We lost 2 supply drones to a sandstorm," she said. "Did the new shielding hold?" he asked. "Perfectly. No injuries," Rhys nodded. "Then it's progress." The scout hesitated. "Sir, do you think they're watching us?" Rhys looked up again. "Oh yes," he said. "They're watching, and they're terrified." In a dark hall far across the galaxy, the council met again. A projection showed footage. Humans taming a giant fire beast, riding it like a horse. Another clip showed children laughing as they splashed in toxic water made harmless by human filtration devices. "They should be dead." One alien whispered. "They're turning the Deathworld into a colony," another said. "That planet should have broken them." The High Speaker watched in silence. "Perhaps we underestimated them," it said finally. A council general stood. "We should send a ship to check. Just observe, quietly." The speaker nodded. "1 drone, nothing more." The observation drone arrived weeks later, hidden behind a moon. It sent small flying cams into the atmosphere. It sent back something. Shocking. Humans had built towers, gardens, factories. They were testing new energy weapons made from native crystals. They were mapping deep tunnels below the planet, preparing to explore its core, and most disturbing of all, they were smiling. "Play that again," the high speaker ordered. On screen, a human child stood next to a huge armored lizard. Creature lowered its head as the child patted it gently. "They've tamed the wild." Someone whispered. "They've made it their home," another said. "No," the speaker corrected. "They've made it their playground." Reese knew the drone had come. He allowed it to record. He even looked straight into a camera once and said, "We're just getting started." The message reached the council. Panic spread. Some leaders called for a second banishment. Send them deeper. Burn the planet if we must. But others were unsure. If they survived Zeta 9, where else would we send them? The void? They'd build a city there too. Arguments raged. But before a decision was made, the humans sent a message. It was short. A single line. "You threw us into fire. Now we own the flame." The message shook the council. A secret council fleet launched toward Zeta-9.7 warships. Their goal: remind humanity of their place. But when the fleet arrived, nothing happened. No human ships rose to attack. No messages were sent. The ships moved in closer. One by one, their systems began to fail. Engines locked. Shields dropped. Weapons shut down. A commander screamed, "We're under attack." From where? The last transmission showed hundreds of towers hidden below the planet's surface, aimed straight at orbit. Then, silence. All 7 ships went dark. Only one escape pod returned. Inside it was a single soldier, eyes wide, trembling. "They didn't stop us," he whispered. "They just waited." Like it was a game. Later, a council diplomat landed on Zeta 9. A white flag flew from her ship. She met Reese near the edge of a crystal canyon, glowing with heat. The alien stepped forward slowly. "We want peace." Reese didn't smile this time. "You banished. U.S. left us to die." "Yes," the diplomat said. "And we were wrong. What do you want now?" Reese thought for a moment. "Nothing," he said. "This place is fun enough." The diplomat looked confused. "You don't want war? Revenge?" "No," Reese said. "We already won. You thought this planet would kill us, but it made us better." He pointed to the sky. "We're not coming for your worlds, unless you try again." The alien swallowed hard and nodded. Then she left. And Zeta 9 was silent again. Years passed. The galaxy stayed quiet. No one challenged Earth again. Rumors spread of what the humans were doing on Zeta 9. Some said they built starships that could fly through black holes. Others believed they had trained the fire beasts to guard hidden gates, but no one dared to check. Meanwhile, on the edge of the wildest planet in the galaxy, a human child tossed a glowing rock into the air. It exploded in colors. He laughed. Behind him, the wild roared. And the humans roared back. Zeta 9 was home now, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The dropship shook violently as it entered the thick, angry clouds of Zeta 9. Lightning flashed across the skies. Wind screamed like a wild beast outside. Inside, the humans held on tight. "Gravity's increasing," the pilot said. "Hold on, this won't be smooth." Captain Reese Callahan looked through the window. He saw nothing but red mist, spinning ash, and dark flashes of fire. His jaw tightened, but his voice stayed calm. "Brace for landing," he ordered. The crew didn't speak. Each person had trained for this moment. Still, their hearts raced. They were the first humans to ever set foot on Zeta 9, the galaxy's most feared world. A death world. A place no one had survived before. The dropship slammed into the ground. The impact threw dust into the air and cracked the nearby rock. Alarms blared, but the hull held firm. Silence followed. Then Reese stood and pressed the release dot with a hiss. The hatch opened. Thick air, filled with heat and dust, rushed inside. The smell was sharp like metal, ash, and burning oil. The wind was hot, like fire brushing your face. Reese stepped out. "Feels like summer in Texas," he said, voice calm but dry. The others followed, engineers, soldiers, scientists. All wore armored suits and helmets. The ground under their boots was black and sharp, like broken glass. Strange plants twisted up from cracks, glowing faintly blue. One of the soldiers whispered, "This place looks angry." Reese nodded. "It probably is." Zeta 9 didn't wait long to attack. Within hours, a sandstorm hit. The wind blew hard enough to rip metal. Sand sliced through one of the tents. An engineer screamed as her leg was cut open. "Get inside!" shouted Lieutenant Brooks. They rushed into the main pod, sealing the doors just as the storm roared past like a monster clawing at the walls. Blood stained the floor. The medic worked quickly, wrapping the engineer's leg. Outside, something large slammed into the side of the pod. Everyone froze. "What was that?" a voice asked. Reese stood near the window. "Not wind," he said. "That was alive." The next morning, they found the prints. Huge claw marks deep in the ground. Whatever made them had 3 legs, each the size of a tree trunk. The creature had circled the pod, then walked off into the canyons. "Great," muttered Brooks. "We're not alone." Reese crouched near the tracks. "We never were," he said, but they didn't panic. Humans didn't come here to hide. They came to survive. Within a week, the team built the first shelter half underground, armored with metal and stone. They created wind traps to collect moisture, used heat suits to explore the area, and mapped the nearest valley for resources. Dr. Yara Lynn, the lead biologist, studied the glowing plants. "These plants react to sound," she said. "When we talk, they twist toward us." "Friendly?" Reese asked. "No," she said. "Curious, maybe hunting." A soldier named Malik added, "This planet watches us. I can feel it." Reese looked at the red sky. "Let it watch. We'll show it what humans are made of." On day 12, they lost their first scout drone. It flew over the mountain ridge and vanished from the map. No signal, no crash detected. A rescue drone followed. It too disappeared. Reese sent no more drones. Instead, he and 2 soldiers climbed the ridge themselves. The journey took 6 hours. Gravity was heavier here. Every step burned the legs. They reached the top. What they saw made them freeze. Below them was a canyon filled with glowing creatures. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Long bodies, armored with crystal plates. Eyes like molten gold. They moved slowly, like a river of fire. One of the soldiers whispered, "They're building something." Reese watched carefully. "They're carving tunnels. They live deep." They didn't attack. They didn't notice the humans. Reese made a note. "Avoid the canyon, for now." Back at the base, the team hit their first real crisis. The air filters failed. Poison gas from a nearby geyser flooded the camp. Sirens wailed. People ran. Reese grabbed the emergency breather and pulled Yara from her lab. "Shut all vents," he shouted. "Seal every door." Inside the shelter they waited, breathing through masks. The gas lasted 2 hours. When it cleared, they opened the doors and saw the damage. Plants had wilted. Their food stores were ruined. One generator had shorted and caught fire. The team gathered around the wreckage. No one spoke. Then Reese said, "Good. Now we know what not to do." Someone laughed nervously. "You call this good?" "Yes," Reese said. "Every disaster teaches us something. Zeta 9 isn't trying to kill us. It's testing us." They rebuilt fast. Engineers created a new air system using native crystals that filtered poison. Yara discovered that one species of fungus grew stronger. After exposure to gas, it could be used to grow food in the open. The team adapted. 2 weeks later, they hunted their first Zeta-beast. It came near the camp, curious. A monster made of stone plates and smoke. It attacked a drone tower. The soldiers surrounded it, using sonic blasters to confuse it. Malik jumped on its back, planting a tracker. The beast roared and charged. Reese fired a shock pulse into its face. It fell, stunned. "We don't kill unless." "We have to," Reese said. "But we learn." They took samples. Studied the bones. Discovered the creature's hide was stronger than steel. Soon, humans were wearing it as armor. One night, a storm bigger than anything they'd seen rolled in. The sky turned black. Red lightning cracked above. Winds reached speeds that could rip trees from the ground. "Inside," Reese yelled. "All of you." The storm came fast. The walls shook. Roofs cracked. Something huge walked outside. Its shadow crossed the camp. Then, silence. The next morning, they stepped outside. The camp was still standing. Not because of luck, because of design. They had built better. Learned from mistakes. Reese stood in the center of the camp and looked around. They were still alive. The planet had given its worst. And lost. A council drone hovered far above the planet. Hidden in the upper atmosphere. It sent footage back to the council. The images showed humans building, hunting, smiling. A message came with it. Human colony is active, thriving. No signs of collapse. The council members sat in silence, watching humans ride giant creatures across the plains. "Impossible," one whispered. "They're not just surviving," said another. "They're enjoying it." The high speaker leaned forward. "Zeta-9 is a nightmare world, but for humans, it's a challenge." "What should we do?" asked a general. The high speaker said nothing for a long time. Then finally spoke. "We do nothing. For now." Reese knew the council was watching. He had seen the shimmer in the sky. The way certain insects moved as if carrying cameras. He didn't mind. "Let them watch," he said. "They need to understand what happens when you exile us." Yara nodded beside him. "You throw us into fire?" Malik grinned. "We make it a campfire." They laughed. The night fell. Above them, the sky flashed with a soft green glow. The air buzzed with new energy. Zeta-9 was still dangerous, still deadly, but it was no longer in control. The humans had taken their first steps, and already the planet was beginning to change. And in the distance, deep in the canyon, something huge opened a glowing eye. It was awake now, and it had noticed them. The dark room was cold and silent, floating deep in space. Inside sat 5 alien beings, each from a different world. Their faces were different. Some had scales, some fur, some glowing skin, but all wore the same expression. Fear. A large screen in front of them showed live footage from Zeta-9, the deadliest planet known in the galaxy. On the screen, a human child ran across black ground, laughing, chasing a small flying robot. The wind howled. Lightning flashed in the red sky. Sharp rocks jutted from the earth like broken teeth, but the child didn't flinch. He waved at the drone watching from above. He saw the drone, one alien whispered, the leader of the group. A tall green being named Vrothak leaned forward. "That child should be dead. A human, no older than 6, should not survive out there without full armor." Another alien from the cold world of Mirax replied, "We've been watching for months. They don't just survive. They're building. They're training. They're taming the world." The room fell silent again as the footage changed. Now it showed a human soldier, Captain Reese Callahan, walking alone across a field of glowing mushrooms. Behind him, a massive beast charged. 10 legs, fire-colored eyes, long tail swinging like a whip. Reese turned, aimed his weapon, and fired a single shot. The beast fell. The humans cheered. Reese helped them carve meat from the creature. Vrothak's voice was tight. This is not normal. This is terrifying. Far below, on the surface of Zeta 9, Reese wiped blood from his gloves and handed a chunk of meat to Malik. Let's cook this and see if it kills us. Reese joked. Malik laughed. We've already survived worse. This might be tasty. Dr. Yara Lynn scanned the meat with her handheld device. It's high in protein, possibly edible. Might need some fire herbs to reduce poison. Reese looked up at the sky. He knew someone was watching. Somewhere above the clouds. There were eyes on them. Let them watch. He wasn't hiding anything. Let them see. He muttered. Back in the secret observation station, the aliens continued their silent review. They played a clip from earlier that week. In it, 3 humans climbed the high cliffs of the burning spire, a place where temperatures reached levels that melted most materials. The humans climbed with bare hands and basic gear. One slipped. His arm broke with a crack that made one alien flinch, but instead of calling for help, the human sat down calmly, looked at his arm, and snapped it back into place. Then he kept climbing. A younger alien screamed, "That's not possible." He should be in shock. They don't feel pain like we do, another said. Or they don't care. No, Vrotha corrected. They feel pain. They just don't stop. The council had created Zeta 9 as a warning, a place to send enemies and rebels to their deaths. It was never meant to be a home. It had been abandoned for centuries because it was too violent, too unstable. But now, the humans had turned it into something else. They had built a city made of stone, bones, metal, and native crystal. The human city was rough but strong. Smoke rose from chimneys. Lights glowed behind armored glass. Giant beasts had been tamed and now worked as carriers. And guards. One alien leaned closer. They named it Fort Hope. Vrothic stared at the name etched in human writing across a large wall. Hope, he said slowly. How can they have hope here? Footage continued to roll. A group of children trained with wooden weapons. A scientist mixed native plants to make fuel. Soldiers practiced hand-to-hand combat against machines. Warning alarm flashed on the human monitors. Something big was coming. The alien observers leaned forward. The next clip showed a massive storm rolling in from the east. Dark clouds crackled with red lightning. Fire burst from the ground. The winds could tear metal apart. The humans didn't run. Instead, they grabbed ropes, shields, and power suits. They moved into position. They had studied the storm. They knew how to fight it. As the sky exploded, the humans stood tall, forming walls, lighting power fields, and shielding their city. They worked like a machine, fast, silent, focused. The storm passed. The city stood. No one had died. They survived the level 9 storm. An alien whispered, "No one survives those." "They do," Vrothic said. "And now they know how." Later that night, Reese stood alone on the edge of a cliff. Below him, the land burned softly, a river of lava glowing in the distance. Wind was hot, but he didn't care. He spoke into a small recorder. "If anyone's listening, we're still here. And we're not just alive. We're learning. Every day, this place tests us. And every day, we push back." He paused. "We didn't ask for this. You banished us. You wanted us to die." He looked straight at the sky. "But now, this world is ours. And if you come for us again, we won't run." He clicked the recorder off. In the council chambers. Far away, the high speaker received the recording. It had been hacked and sent through a hidden channel. No one knew how the humans got access to it. How did they do this? A guard asked. "They're not supposed to have long-range tech. They're not supposed to have cities," the high speaker said. "Or tamed beasts, or schools." The council was called into emergency meeting. Panic spread. Some wanted to send another exile species to Zeta 9 to weaken the humans. Others wanted to bomb the planet and erase it. But Vrothic stood and raised his voice. "If you attack them now, they will fight back, and if they survive that..." He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Everyone in the room was thinking the same thing. If humans could survive Zeta 9, what else could they survive? In the observation chamber, a final video played. It showed a group of human engineers building something new, a ship. Small, sharp, fast. Made from alien metals and crystal fuel. A new kind of scout vessel. The humans were preparing to leave Zeta-9. They were getting ready to explore again. They're not just staying there. One alien said. They're planning to expand. A silence fell over the room. Then the final footage came in. It was from one of the cam bugs hidden in the rocks. The video showed Reese again, walking near a lava stream. This time, he looked directly at the bug. He spoke one line. I see you. Then he crushed it under his boot. The screen went dark. The observers sat frozen. They had watched, studied, calculated. But now, they realized something chilling. The humans knew they were being watched, and they didn't care. No, they welcomed it, because the more the galaxy saw, the more fear would grow, and that was exactly what humans wanted. Vrothik stood, voice shaking. They are not just a danger. They are becoming a legend. Back on Zeta 9, the fires burned low. The city of Fort Hope stood strong. Children laughed. Machines hummed. The beasts outside the walls slept peacefully, watched over by trained hunters. And Captain Reese Callahan sat at a table, drawing the map of the stars. Where do we go next? Malik asked. Reese smiled. Anywhere we want. Zeta 9 had been quiet for too long. Captain Reese Callahan stood on the edge of Fort Hope's high wall. The red wind blew softly, brushing against his helmet. Down below, the land looked still, too still. No beasts, Malik said beside him. No storms, not even the flying bugs. That's not peace, Reese replied. That's waiting. Behind them, the human colony was busy. Workers were reinforcing power lines. Engineers were testing the new crystal shields. Children were inside the bunkers, practicing emergency drills. Yara came up from the lab, her face tense. I ran new tests on the soil, she said. There's a pressure buildup underground. Heat rising, unstable minerals all at once. Volcanic activity, Malik asked. No, Yara said. Something different. The planet is reacting. Reese looked out at the horizon. Zeta-9 wasn't dead. It was preparing for something. 2 days later, it began. At first, it was small. A tremor shook the north side of the colony. A few storage crates fell. Nothing major. But then, the sky turned. Black. Not red, not storm black, but pitch dark. Like space had dropped over them. The wind stopped. Every creature outside the walls vanished. Even the wild plants curled inward like they were hiding. That night, the ground screamed. Everyone in Fort Hope heard it. A deep, rumbling sound like the cry of a mountain. Then the lava came. It wasn't just one volcano. The planet cracked open. From the eastern ridge, a river of molten rock surged toward the colony. Trees burst into flames. The air turned sharp and smoky. Evacuate the outer sectors. Reese shouted. People rushed to move equipment, supplies, anything important. Machines worked fast, but the lava was faster. By the time the last transport rolled into the main compound, the eastern wall had melted. Reese stared at the fire. This isn't random, he said. Yara nodded. The lava flows are too perfect. Like fingers reaching toward us. Malik whispered, the planet's trying to kill us. Reese's jaw tightened. Then let it try. They activated the defense towers, plasma turrets, sonic cannons, and shield domes. They'd built them to fight beasts, not the planet itself. The lava rolled closer. The crystal shields flickered to life. The first wave of fire splashed against the barrier. The shield cracked but held. The planet was not done. Earthquakes hit next. 3 in a row. One building collapsed. A power relay snapped in half. Smoke rose from a generator. Yara ran diagnostics. It's targeting our energy points. Somehow it knows where they are. That's impossible, said a young tech. No, Reese said. We've been here too long. The planet's been learning, just like we have. The next day, the firestorms began. The sky opened and sheets of flame fell like rain. Humans rushed to cover equipment. Drones flew above the city, scattering cooling agents into the air. Engineers adjusted windshields to deflect the heat. Still, one sector caught fire. A group of homes burned. No one died, but the damage was heavy. People were tired, scared. That night, Reese gathered everyone in the central square. This planet is alive, he said, voice strong. It's not just throwing storms at us, it's fighting back. But listen closely. He pointed to the wall behind him. We're still standing. That lava didn't break us. The earthquakes didn't stop us. The fire didn't chase us away. He looked around. I say this ends now. The humans prepared for war. Reese called it Operation Ground Strike. If the planet wanted to play rough, they'd hit back. Yara led a team to design new stabilizers machines that could dig into the crust and cool rising magma before it erupted. Malik and the soldiers built shot cannons that could fire deep charges into the fault lines, redirecting pressure safely. Engineers installed satellite-linked AI towers to track underground movements in real time. The message was clear. Humans weren't going to run. They were going to fight the planet itself. The next big attack came at dawn. A wall of poisonous fog rolled down from the northern cliffs. It ate metal. It made machines spark and shut down. Reese ran outside in a full environment suit. He saw the fog creeping over the fields, swallowing everything. Activate tower fans. He shouted. Massive fans kicked on, blowing the fog back with hurricane force, but the fog was thick and smart. It wrapped around the camp from both sides. Malik stood near the command post, holding a flame blaster. Captain, it's coming from under the ground too. Yara shouted from the lab. It's not fog, it's spores, alive. The spores reached the main gate. Reese slammed his fist on the alarm. Burn it. He ordered. Flame units torched the gate. The air lit up in bright orange. The spores shrieked a sound so sharp it made people cover their ears. Then silence. The fog was gone. The walls were still up. The humans were still alive. By the third week, the ground under Fort Hope was shaking every day. Steam hissed from cracks. Creatures that had once fled now returned, more aggressive and desperate. Reese stood at the front gate, watching as 3 beasts charged toward the base. He didn't flinch. Open the trap field, he said. A deep pulse rippled from the soil. The beasts stepped into it and collapsed instantly. Paralyzed. Reese walked out to inspect them. Yara followed, scanning the bodies. These things aren't natural anymore, she said. Their bodies changed, adapted faster than normal. The planet is forcing evolution. Malik shook his head. This place is turning its own life forms into weapons. Reese looked up at the sky, and we're still here. Then came the final test. Sensors picked up a massive pressure shift beneath the colony. A superquake. Worse than anything they'd ever seen. This one will tear everything apart, Yara warned. Our walls won't hold. Reese didn't blink. We don't need walls, we need a plan. Within minutes, everyone was moving. Evac shuttles were powered up, but not to escape. Just in case, drones flew into the fault lines to plant redirection charges. The engineers activated all 5 stabilizers. As the shaking began, Reese stood in the control center. Status? He asked. Stabilizers active, Yara said. Charges in place. Hold, Malik said. Steady. Then the quake hit. The earth roared. The colony shifted. Cracks raced across the ground. Towers swayed. One fell. Then the stabilizers kicked in. The shock absorbed. The power rerouted. The quake passed. Fort Hope didn't fall. It bent, but it didn't break. After that, the planet went quiet again. Not dead, just tired. The humans had passed the final test. For the first time since their exile, the ground under Fort Hope felt steady. Yara walked the ruins of the old eastern wall. "Do you think it gave up?" she asked. Reese shook his head. "No, it realized we're part of it now. We belong here." Malik joined them. "So we win?" Reese smiled. "No, we earned it. There's a difference." Above Zeta 9, hidden in the clouds, the alien observation drone recorded everything. The footage was sent back to the Galactic Council. The final report was one line: the planet fought. The humans fought harder. Zeta 9 is now theirs. Back in the council chamber, silence fell over the room. The high speaker stood slowly. "We exiled them to die," it said. Another voice replied, "We may have created our future rulers." The message was clear. You can throw humans into fire, but don't be surprised when they build a home inside it. The hum of machinery filled the underground lab. Lights glowed soft blue and white. Sparks flew from welding tools. A team of humans worked quickly, sweat shining on their faces despite the cool air. Captain Reese Callahan stood watching, arms crossed. "This tech isn't just new," he said quietly. "It's banned by every galactic rule." One of the engineers looked up nervously. "We needed something better," she said. "Zeta 9 is changing. The planet fights back. We need to fight smarter." Reese nodded. "I get it. But if the council finds out what we're building, they'll try to stop us." The engineer finished. Reese smiled thinly. "Let them try." Weeks earlier, the idea began with a simple problem. Humans had tamed beasts, built strong shelters, and survived endless storms. But their old weapons and ships struggled on Zeta 9. The planet's energy interfered with normal tech. Lasers flickered out. Engines sputtered. Even shields weakened. Yara Lin, the lead scientist, paced in her lab. "We need something new," she told Reese. "Something they never expected." Reese rubbed his chin. "Something the council banned." "Exactly." The council had outlawed certain tech long ago. Weapons that used pure quantum energy, devices that bent time, or ships that could jump without warning. Too dangerous, they said. But Earth still held secrets from before the exile. Hidden labs and forgotten blueprints. The humans found a way. Reese walked through the lab again. "This quantum pulse cannon," he said, pointing at a strange weapon, "can shoot through any shield. It's silent, fast and deadly." Malik laughed. "Sounds like the perfect tool to remind the galaxy who's boss." Yara added, "The problem? It overheats quickly. We can't use it in long battles. But in the right moment, it changes everything." Reese nodded. "We'll train for that moment." One night, while the colony slept, an alarm suddenly blared. Reese was already awake. He grabbed his helmet and ran outside. Malik met him near the gate, face pale. "Something's wrong," Malik said. "We're losing power. All over the colony." "Sabotage?" Reese asked. "No signs." Malik shook his head. "It's the planet." Again. They rushed to the control center. Yara was there, her eyes wide with worry. "The energy flows are fluctuating," she said. "The planet is disrupting our systems. Our old tech can't keep up." Reese clenched his fist. "Then we use the new." The next morning, the humans gathered in the training field. Reese held the quantum pulse cannon carefully. "This is banned tech," he said. "If we're caught using it, the council will send fleets to crush us. But if we don't use it," Malik said quietly, "we won't survive." Reese looked at the faces around him, men and women, who had risked everything to build a new home on this planet. "We use it smart," Reese said. "Quick strikes, no waste. Hit hard, then hide. We don't want war. We want survival." Days passed, and the planet fought harder. Earthquakes rocked Fort Hope again. Poisonous fog crawled closer. Wild beasts grew more aggressive, but the humans used their new tech. In one battle, a group of hunters was trapped by a pack of giant creatures. The beasts cornered them against a cliff. Reese arrived with the pulse cannons. The weapons fired beams of bright blue light, passing through the beasts' thick hides and stunning them instantly. Malik grinned. That was too easy. Yara nodded. We couldn't have done this with old guns. The hunters escaped. The council was watching. In a hidden chamber, the high speaker glared at screens. Humans are using banned tech, it said. Another member frowned. They're breaking every rule. But they survive, the high speaker said. They grow stronger. A general slammed a fist on the table. We must send a fleet. Crush them before they become unstoppable. The speaker shook its head. No, if we do, we risk full war. They needed another plan. Back on Zeta 9, Reese received a strange message. It came from a hidden council agent, disguised as a traitor. The message was simple. We know what you're building. Stop now, or face annihilation. Reese smiled and showed the message to Yara. We won't stop, she said firmly. Reese looked at Malik. Tell the team. The council can threaten, but they can't stop us. Malik nodded. One evening, the humans tested their new ship. It was small, sleek, and powered by crystal and quantum cores. Reese and Malik climbed aboard. The ship hummed quietly as it lifted. Ready for a quick strike? Reese asked. Malik grinned. Born ready. They flew low over the red plains. Suddenly, a fleet of council scouts appeared. Reese aimed the pulse cannon. The first blast hit a scout ship's engine. It exploded silently. The others scattered. Malik laughed. They didn't expect that, Reese said. No one does. The council fleet regrouped and sent a message. Humans must surrender banned tech, or be destroyed. Reese replied with a new broadcast. A human child appeared on the screen, holding a glowing device. You threw us out, the child said softly. But we will rise, banned or not. The council trembled. Some called for peace talks. Others for total war. Inside Fort Hope, Yara worked late. She stared at blueprints, designing better weapons, stronger shields, faster ships. Reese came in. You're pushing too hard, he said gently. Yara smiled. We push because we must. If we don't, we lose. Reese nodded. Outside, the wind howled. The planet still fought, but humans had their secret weapon, and they were ready. A message to the galaxy. The stars were bright above Zeta 9. Captain Reese Callahan stood on the observation deck of Fort Hope, staring into the endless black sky. The cold wind whispered softly, but his mind was far from quiet. Behind him, Yara. Lynn adjusted the controls of a large communication array. The machine hummed with power, a rare and dangerous thing on this planet. We're ready, Yara said. The message will broadcast across the galaxy in 5 minutes. Reese nodded. Slowly, it's time. For years, humans had been silent. Exiled from the Galactic Council, forced to survive on a world made to kill them. But now, they had something to say. Reese pressed a button, and the giant screen lit up. A human child appeared, no older than 8, standing tall in front of the Fort Hope flag. Her voice was steady and clear. To all who watch and listen, this is Earth. We were banished, left to die on a world you thought would break us. She paused, eyes shining with quiet fire. But we survived. We adapted. We built a home where others only saw death. The camera zoomed out to show Fort Hope, a city of stone and metal, glowing softly in the night. The child continued. We are not your victims. We are not your prisoners. We are humans. Strong, proud, and free. In the Galactic Council chamber, the message arrived like a shockwave. Council members stared in disbelief. The high speaker slammed a fist on the table. They dare to speak. Another voice whispered. They threaten us with their survival. But survival is not threat enough, said the speaker. They want to be heard. They want respect. The council debated for hours. Some wanted to send fleets and crush the humans once and for all. Others argued for peace. To listen and learn. In the end, the message had changed everything. The galaxy could no longer ignore Earth. Back on Zeta 9, Reese and his team watched the response feed from distant worlds. Ships slowed as they received the broadcast. Aliens whispered and stared at their screens. Malik turned to Reese. "Do you think they'll attack now?" Reese shook his head. "No. This message shows we're ready. Not just to fight, but to stand tall." Yara added, "It's a warning and an invitation." Suddenly, alarms blared across the colony. The large sensors on the horizon picked up a fleet, hundreds of ships moving fast. "We're not alone," Malik said, gripping his weapon. Reese stepped forward. "Prepare defenses. But don't fire unless I say." The fleet came closer. It wasn't a fleet of warships, but explorers and diplomats. One ship landed near Fort Hope's gates. From the hatch, an alien ambassador stepped out, tall, with shimmering skin and wide eyes. "We come in peace," the ambassador said, voice soft but firm. Reese nodded. "We listen." Days passed. The ambassador met with Reese and the Council of Humans. They talked of peace, trade, and respect. The ambassador said, "Your message reached the far corners. Many feared you were gone, lost to Zeta 9. Reese smiled. "We were never gone. Just waiting." Yara showed the alien the colony's tech. "We've built from the ashes," she said. "Learned from the planet's fight." The ambassador nodded. "This changes the galaxy's balance." But not all were happy. In the shadows, some council members whispered dark plans. "They grow too strong," one said. "They will not stop until they control the galaxy." Another warned. Reese knew this, but he was ready. "If they come," he said, "we will be ready." One night, Reese stood under the stars with Malik. "Do you think the galaxy will ever accept us?" Malik asked. Reese looked up. "We don't need acceptance," he said. "We need respect. And respect is earned." Malik smiled. "The message was the first step." Reese nodded. "The next steps are ours to make." The Galactic Council chambers were cold and dark, filled with whispers and heavy tension. The High Speaker paced slowly, eyes burning with anger. "We cannot let humans grow stronger," the Speaker said sharply. "They defy our laws. They build forbidden's tech, and they send messages across the galaxy like they own it." A counselor with deep purple skin nodded. "They challenge the balance of power. If we don't act, others will follow." "But how?" another voice asked. "They are too strong on Zeta 9. Their defenses are nearly impenetrable." The Speaker stopped and faced them all. "We strike where they least expect it." Thousands of light years away, on Zeta 9, Captain Reese Callahan sat at the command table, reviewing new reports. Malik looked over his shoulder. "The Council's silence worries me." Reese didn't look up. "Silence means they're planning." Yara Lin joined them, holding a cracked datapad. "We detected strange signals near the edge of our sensor range. Ships moving fast, but hidden." Reese's eyes narrowed. "A sneak attack." He stood, voice steady. "Prepare the defenses and alert the scouts." That night, the red sky was calm, but below the surface, something stirred. Deep tunnels cracked open. Strange machines surfaced, silent, black and deadly. "They're not like the beasts," Malik said, watching from the wall. "These are weapons." Reese clenched his fist. "They brought soldiers we can't see coming." The colony scrambled, power fields raised, turrets spun, but the Council's attack was clever. The machines moved fast, slipping through cracks in the shields. In the heart of Fort Hope, alarms screamed. Yara rushed to the control room. "Systems failing," she cried. "Shields dropping, power disrupted." Reese grabbed his helmet. "We fight." Malik loaded pulse cannons. Outside, the first wave of machines attacked. They moved like shadows, silent, deadly. One hit the generator. Sparks flew. Another tore through the power grid. Reese shouted, "Hold the line! Don't let them through!" The battle was brutal. Humans fought with all their strength. The pulse cannons burned through the machines, but more kept coming. Malik fell, pinned by a heavy drone. Reese sprinted to help. "Get up!" he shouted, pulling Malik free. Malik gasped. "They're endless." "They're not," Reese said. "We find their source." Yara hacked into the network controlling the machines. "There," she said, pointing at a signal. "The command node, deep underground, beyond the old mines." Reese nodded. "A strike team will go in. We take it out, or we lose everything." The team suited up. Dark tunnels welcomed them like a grave. The deeper they went, the hotter it became. Machines patrolled. "Scanning." Reese whispered, "Stay quiet." Suddenly, a drone appeared. Reese fired. The drone exploded in a flash. "Move!" Malik said. They pushed forward. The tunnels shook. Rocks fell. A massive machine rose ahead, a command node, pulsing with energy. Yara connected her device. "It's almost done sending the attack wave," she said. Reese planted charges. "Cover me." They ran back as the charges exploded. The command node shattered. The attack stopped. Back on the surface, the battle slowed. The machine stopped moving. Humans cheered. Reese looked at the stars. "They tried to break us," he said, "but we stood." Malik smiled weakly. "They'll try again." Reese nodded. "And we'll be ready." The sun barely rose over Zeta 9, painting the sky in pale red and orange. Captain Reese Callahan stood atop the highest tower of Fort Hope, watching the horizon. The planet was quiet, too quiet. Malik approached, his footsteps soft but steady. "You feel it too?" Reese didn't turn. "The calm before the storm. The last breath before the fight ends." Malik nodded. "They won't give up easily," Reese smiled. "Neither will we." Inside the command center, Yara Lin studied the incoming data. "Council fleets are retreating," she said. "Sensors show their ships leaving the system." Reese rubbed his chin. "Or they're regrouping for one last attack." "Maybe," Yara said. "But this silence feels different." Malik joined them. "Different how?" "Like they know the game is over." Reese's eyes gleamed with hope. "Then it's time to make it official." The humans gathered in the central square. Reese stepped forward. "We came here as exiles," he began. "Banished to die on a world no one wanted." He paused, looking at the faces of his people, tired but proud. "But we didn't just survive. We built, we fought, and we won." A cheer rose up, loud and full of life. Reese raised his voice over the crowd. "Zeta 9 is our home now. No one will take it from us." That night, a signal broadcast from Fort Hope went out across the galaxy. A human woman spoke with calm authority. "To all who hear this message," she said, "Zeta 9 belongs to the humans. We will defend it, grow it, and protect it." The camera shifted to show the city, glowing under the stars. "We are here to stay." Far away, the Galactic Council watched in silence. The high speaker looked down at the message. "We have lost." The speaker admitted. A younger counselor whispered, "Humans will change everything." "Yes," the speaker said, "but they earned their place." Back on the planet, Reese walked outside. Malik stood beside him. "Think they'll come back?" "Maybe," Reese replied, "but this time we're ready." The planet around them seemed to breathe, a living thing no longer hostile, but part of them. Reese looked up at the stars. "Zeta 9 is ours now." Malik smiled. "And the galaxy will have to remember that."